You said that you've been suffering from GERD, and you're taking Nexium 40 for GERD. So for those of you that are new to detoxification, I'll try and break this down in as simplistic terms as I possibly can, and also to explain what causes GERD or acid reflux. They're one and the same. Really, acid reflux is the condition that they name when it's like just acid reflux. Like you're experiencing heartburn, you have acid reflux as a one-time occurrence as a symptom, right? But GERD is what they stamp you with. GERD, the name, that disease name, is what they stamp you with when you are experiencing reoccurring acid reflux. So if it's not just an isolated incident every once in a while, if it's reoccurring, like let's say several times a week, the doctors will label you with GERD. So when people come to me, when clients come to me, and I look at their case and I look at their eyes and everything, these are the 3 top causes of GERD or acid reflux. Number 1, I always check to see if they have a pancreatic weakness. Most oftentimes they do. The reason that the root cause of GERD is pancreas weakness, more often than not, is because the pancreas is a digestive organ. It's responsible for producing sodium bicarbonate to neutralize stomach acids. So the stomach, anytime you eat foods, or especially proteins, the stomach glands in the stomach start to produce hydrochloric acid and enzymes and all that stuff in order to break down and digest your foods. But the problem is that if you don't have your pancreas functioning in proper order and it's lacking the production of sodium bicarbonate, your body is unable to neutralize those stomach acids. Then you start to experience that stomach burn and heartburn, going up and traveling up to the esophageal wall and the esophagus. And that can create things like shortness of breath, pain in the chest, that sour taste in your mouth, the belching, all that stuff. If you have that, you can definitely see if you have a pancreas weakness. And this is a concern because what I often see is people that have been suffering from acid reflux for a really long time, you can see in their eyes, the esophageal wall, very, very big chronic weakness right there. You can see the deterioration that the acids have done to that esophagus tissue. So it's very important to heal that, to heal the root cause, to drain the body of the interstitial acidosis all throughout the GI tract. Because if you have pancreas weakness, you're going to have this interstitial acidosis within and around the GI tract, the colon, the stomach, and the corresponding digestive organs, the liver, gallbladder, and the pancreas. So, that is of main concern. Along with the esophageal weakness that we often see in people that are exhibiting acid reflux and GERD, we also see stomach weakness occurring as well. In the iris and iridology, that sign is known as these dark lesions that are emanating from the pupil and are going out in spokes. That is deterioration of the stomach. And oftentimes you can see like this image of the stomach, so what's known as the stomach ring, in the iris as well. But those lesions, those dark lesions, are indicative of possible ulcerations or ulcerations happening fast in the near future. So you want to take care of these things because acid reflux and GERD, over time, it can create ulcerations and it can also create cancers. So esophageal cancer, stomach cancers, or ulcerations, vice versa in those places. So this is something that is very serious. It's often not taken seriously by medical doctors. They'll give you an antacid, they'll give you a proton pump inhibitor for a few weeks, and then they'll be like, okay, off your merry way. But this is very serious. Now, you don't want to suppress these conditions. You don't want to take an antacid full of like calcium or magnesium or these man-made isolated substances that is just going to create more disease conditions in your body. You know how that happens? In antacids, what do you have? You have things like calcium or magnesium. If you have a problem utilizing calcium in your body, what will that calcium carbonate create in your body then? What will it create? It will create kidney stones or calcifications in your body. So you never want to mess with medications like that, especially not long-term, and you don't want to mess with isolated chemistry in any sense of the word. We have to be detectives when we're detoxifying the bodies. We have to really look and see, where is the root cause? What location is it, you know? Because even though you have acid reflux, the problem isn't in the stomach. Like we've discussed first, this first root cause, it can be coming from the pancreas, right? So it's like, as a detox specialist, that's my job, is I'm sort of a detective and I piece all these puzzle pieces together. And we can definitely truly see where the root cause is coming from, looking in your eyes and looking at your family health history and health history in general. So how can you tell if it's a pancreatic weakness? Okay, you can see that weakness in the eye, but also your genetic family history can point to it as well. If your family, well, if you are seeing undigested food in your stools, that's a possible pancreatic weakness. If you are exhibiting a lot of gas and bloating type symptoms, that's also a possibility. If you are thin and having trouble gaining weight, or you have nutritional deficiencies, that is also a possibility of having a pancreas weakness. Or if you see that running along the line in your family history, like your mom, your dad, or your grandparents, or your siblings, if they have it, okay? So this is kind of like what I do as detox specialist. Those are all the shifting parts that I look at to see where you have your organ and gland weaknesses and what herbal protocol you should be put on to finally heal your health issues. So that's the first root cause of GERD or acid reflux. The second root cause is often just sulfur. I often see in people's eyes a lot of yellow and orange in that hub, right there in the middle of the iris. The colon, the stomach, right around the pupil will often be very yellow, a neon yellow, or it can be orange. In blue eyes, it's easier to spot sulfur. If you have sulfur, it'll be yellow or orange, and you know, that contrast is very apparent. But in brown eyes, it can take a little more, a little more experience to see if you have sulfur. In brown eyes, I often see it as orange. It'll look like murky brown orange, and it'll look more focused towards the colon or around the pupil. And then if it's really bad, if you have a lot of sulfur accumulation in your body, you'll see it along the fibers, along the lymphatic bed, and around the lymph nodes. You don't want it to reach your lymph nodes. That's when it gets really hard to detox the body. So we can ask ourselves, where does this sulfur come from? Where does it come from? Well, in this society, sulfur is found everywhere, literally everywhere. You can find it in drinking water, you can find it in body care products, you can find it in food, processed foods. Sulfur is often used as a preservative, both in body care products and food products. And also sulfur is found in wine and alcohol as sulfates or sulfites. It can be found in dried fruits. You always have to check if you're going to buy dried fruits like dates or raisins or figs or apples, anything dried fruits, you have to check to see that it hasn't been preserved with sulfur. Because the more you consume this sulfur, the more it will lock your lymphatic system in your colon. And it can be very difficult to remove this sulfur. The reason why sulfur is so detrimental to the body is because, number one, it's a highly acidic compound, highly acidic gas. It will start to destroy the tissue around the body since it's so acidic. The acidic chemistry deteriorates the tissue. Number two, sulfur is a fungal proliferant. Fungus is attracted to sulfur. So the more sulfur you have in your body, the more you can crave things like starches or fungal type foods, right? Like bread, rice, pastas, things like that. So you want to eliminate this sulfur because of that. And another thing is sulfur is found in antibiotics predominantly. So any antibiotics, if you've had a reoccurring taking of antibiotics or sulfur medications, you can bet that you have a lot of sulfur in your body that has to be removed. So like we said before, this sulfur is stuck in that colon wall. How can we remove it? Well, since sulfur is highly acidic, you can feel that burn. You can literally feel the burn in your stomach, in your esophageal wall, everywhere. And so it has to be removed. So how do you remove sulfur? I would honestly really recommend the GI Broom and the GI Renew formulas. And there's also certain fruits that are very, very good at removing sulfur, like melons and watermelons and apples are really good. Oranges, grapes, fantastic sulfur removers. Apple with lemon juice together is a fantastic sulfur remover, but you really want to focus on the lymphatic herbs that are in the GI Renew and GI Broom formulas. They're very, very astringent at pulling out this sulfur out of your body. And so when approaching detoxification, when you have something like GERD, you have to be a little careful because sometimes people's stomachs and insides are very sensitive. So when they start to try to remove this sulfur or try to remove this lymphatic waste out of the body and this acid out of the body, you can get reoccurring bouts of burning and like acid reflux type symptoms. So you want to take it slow. You didn't tell me what your diet looks like right now, but if it still involves the consumption of proteins, the consumption of animal foods, the consumption of any mucus forming foods, cooked foods, processed foods, grains, anything like that, then you want to shift that more towards raw foods and cooling foods. Foods that are not going to add to the abrasiveness that your body is experiencing. So what you want to do is you want to take a slower approach. Start by adding sweet fruits like bananas and subacid fruits, things that are more gentle like apples and grapes and plums and, things like that. But I would initially avoid things like oranges or lemons or pineapples. Those are more of the acid fruits. Now, acid fruits aren't acidic when consumed in the body. They always form alkaline ash at a cellular level in the end, so they're not like cooked foods. But initially when they hit your stomach, and since they're so powerful at removing acidosis through the lymph system, then you can feel that as a detox symptom. Oh, okay, So you want to start off slow with transitioning your diet into more raw foods, raw fruits, or salads, smoothies, juices, things like that, okay? So if you initially start to feel that detox symptom, not to worry. It just means you can't handle that fruit right now. That's okay. You can try again that same fruit a few months from now. And that's kind of like what I had to do in my own detox journey, because initially I couldn't handle things like oranges or mangoes or strawberries. They created that sort of like, burning type feeling. Even in other parts of my body, like my bladder and my uterus, also I felt those pains too. People with allergies and food sensitivities also have to take the same approach with being a little careful. Don't take such an aggressive detox approach right in the beginning, okay? So that's what you should do with the fruits. And I mentioned the fruits that allow you to pull sulfur out of the body too, and the herbal formulas too. So what you want to realize next is number 3, the root cause of GERD and acid reflux can also be interstitial lymphatic constipation. Now if this is the case for you, this is the worst type. This is the worst scenario for GERD or acid reflux conditions, because this means that interstitially all throughout your entire GI tract in your body, you have acidosis. Acids have been chewing and chewing and chewing on the tissue, on the mucosa, everywhere, the stomach lining, everywhere. So it becomes a cause of concern because these acids, since they've been there for a long time, they can be cancer causing. They can create ulcerations. So you have to think about it this way. You want to remove the acidosis interstitially from the tissue. If you have sulfur, you want to remove the sulfur out of the body. And if you have a pancreas weakness, you want to restore and regenerate your pancreas. How is all this accomplished? The regeneration and the removal of anything, chemical, acid, neurotoxin, medication, anything, requires the alkalization of the human body. How do you alkalize the body? You want to focus on alkaline foods, alkaline forming foods, and you want to avoid everything that will instigate more acid production in your body, especially stomach acids. So for people that have GERD, the number one thing you must remove right away are protein foods. Protein foods will will start the production of stomach acids and hydrochloric acid. So you want to avoid that pain. You want to avoid all these ulcerations that can be occurring in your body while you start to heal, right? While your pancreas is healing, while you're removing this sulfur, you have to cool everything down. So removal of proteins, they can be animal meats, fish, dairy is a protein, beans, excessive amounts of nuts. Sometimes you can get away with a little bit of seeds, okay, on the raw diet. Tofu, mock meats, all these things are proteins, classified as proteins, and you should not have them if you're experiencing acid reflux and GERD. Until you finally heal it, then maybe you can introduce them sometimes. But really, human beings don't require as much protein as we've been led on to believe. We'd only require about maybe 60 grams of protein per day, and not more than that. You know, we are actually suffering from having too much protein in our diets. Protein does not love the stomach, does not love the kidneys. It will burn and deteriorate all those organs and tissues in the body. And that's what we see time and time again, okay? So removal of proteins is absolute number one. And then you want to focus on the raw foods in order to get your kidneys to filter. So how do we clear all this acidosis, all this interstitial lymphatic acidosis that you can have inside the tissue of the stomach, inside the gut, inside the esophagus? How do you clear all this? Well, the lymphatic system is the body's main cleaning system. The blood is responsible to bring nutrition to the cells, and the lymphatic system's job is to remove all the cellular waste. See, acids can come from the foods that you consume, and then their byproducts are acidic. They can also come from environmental toxins, you know, that we breathe in or that we drink or that we consume, but they are often coming from just our cellular sewage that our bodies have not been able to remove. So all the cells in the body require nutrition to maintain the vitality and the health of the cells. And then also they require the removal of the waste. I always say this in my videos, the cells consume nutrients and they also remove waste. Like, just like us, we have to use the bathroom, we have to poop, we have to pee, we have to get rid of our waste from the foods and the nutrition that we consume, right? So how do we reach this lymph system? The lymphatic system is connected to the kidneys. So in order for you to heal, you want to start seeing the cellular sewage coming out of your body finally, because your body has been flooding with this and it's been holding on to it and it doesn't know what to do with it or where to go. So it's just sitting, settling, and chewing on the tissues and creating this pain, this inflammation in your body, okay? So how to achieve kidney filtration is moving more towards raw foods, taking herbal formulas to turn on the kidneys to finally filter so that you can see the sewage coming out through your urine. You'll be able to see this sewage in the form of cloudiness, flakes, sediment. Sometimes people even see crystals settling on the bottom of the urine. I've seen that before. You can see strange colors too. One client was removing blue colored urine as some sort of chemical that they were finally detoxing from their bodies. So, but the color is not as important as the sewage that you can physically see. So like I said, cloudy urine or sediment or something like that. Kind of like when you shake a snow globe and you can see all these things floating around. That's what you want your urine to look like. That is good detoxification. If you start to detox and your urine is clear and it remains clear and you don't really reach the removal of the cellular waste, then you're not going to be making that much progress. Now, we do have other channels of elimination that can help us with that. You know, we have our colon to remove mucus and all those things. We have our skin to sweat from. We have our respiratory system. We also exhale a lot of toxicity from there. But the kidneys are going to be the main channel of elimination to remove all the acids that are surrounding the cells and can have even permeated the cell. That's when something becomes a cancer cell, is when the acids finally permeate the cell, and we want to avoid that. If you do have cancer cells, you know, a lot of people do have cancer cells, then it's the job of the lymph system and the lymph nodes and the macrophages in the lymph nodes to engulf these cancer cells and to remove them and excrete them through the kidneys. So it really all comes down to that, okay? So those are the 3 root causes: sulfur, pancreas weakness, interstitial lymphatic constipation. Now, what do we do with this? This is the protocol that I would put you on. Since you're experiencing these symptoms, the stomach tea is fantastic at calming and soothing the mucosic lining in the stomach, so you won't feel that burn, okay? And the main herbs in the stomach tea are going to be slippery elm, marshmallow root, chamomile. All these create a mucilage. They're mucilage herbs. So when they go inside, they create this nice soothing coating to stop this burn from whatever the cause is, right? The 3-lung tea is also really good. It has pleurisy root, fenugreek seed, and mullein leaf. They're very anti-inflammatory, those herbs. So you can also use those. I mentioned the GI broom, definitely the GI renew. You want to be on a kidney formula. I recommend 2 kidney formulas, kidney number 2 and kidney number 1 especially. A lymphatic capsule. Start off slow. In the beginning, you can do lymphatic number 1 capsules and then see how it goes, you know? If you don't experience aggressive detoxification symptoms, then you can, you know, up the dosage to normal dosage. And then a lymphatic tincture. Definitely, you know, the fruits are lymphatic movers as well, but you can also put a lymphatic tincture. And then you want to check for your kidney filtration. If you have a pancreas weakness, depending on how big that weakness is, if it's a chronic degenerative lesion, if it's genetic in the eyes and you can see it's an inherent genetic weakness, you may need a pancreas glandular. Or if it's not that bad, you can take a pancreas tincture. So it really depends from case to case, guys. And then on top of that, let me see what else you said you have here. So you're taking Nexium, the proton pump inhibitor. I really don't recommend proton pump inhibitors, guys, because it's been a proven fact that they actually have cancer-causing agents inside these medications. The FDA has actually removed a lot of these medications for GERD and acid reflux off of the market because they contain higher than acceptable cancer-causing agents inside the medications. So it's like, you know, you start to think, okay, so some cancer-causing agents can be allowed in there to a certain level, you know what I mean? So that's kind of sickening. That's why you really want to get off of medications and not be relying on them and become your own healer and take your power back, okay? Because one day you can wake up with something like cancer or with a chronic or degenerative illness, and you really want to take a preventative approach before things get worse. Right now, they might actually be really bad in your body, but your body's not showing extreme signs of it. Sometimes I look at people's eyes and I'm like, ooh, okay, we really need to roll up our sleeves and get to work, because if not, you can be creating some sort of cancerous condition in your body or major destruction of your organs and glands and tissues. So you always want to take that preventative approach and as aggressive as you can handle it, because really it becomes a battle of acids versus alkalinity. If acids win, your body's going to lose. If acids take over, your health is going to continue to decline. So you want to remove these acids as soon as possible. If you want to do something about it right now, you know, to help soothe and coat your GI tract wall, your stomach, you can also take aloe vera. You can take the gel and scrape it off and just take a shot of it every once in a while. The same thing goes for the stomach tea or the 3-lung tea. I often tell people, take that often throughout the day. You want to just soothe and coat your stomach, soothe and coat your GI tract as often as possible. And on top of that, some clients come to me where they can't even handle some of the herbal formulas. Sometimes they're very aggressive. That's how toxic people are. It really depends on how toxic you are in your body. So if you're highly inflamed and acidic, Some people can't handle the herbal formulas like as a regular dosage, and some people do very fine with them. But really, when I see chronic congestion in the eyes, several symptoms in the body, then we always know we have to take a slower approach. And whenever you get the herbal formulas, I always recommend start off with a few drops, test it out the first few days, see how you feel. If you feel fine, you can start to increase it until you reach the regular dosage. So for capsules, 2 capsules 3 times a day. For the herbal capsules, the glandulars, they really vary. Really depends on the severity of the weakness in your eyes, and also the tinctures. 1 drop a full 3 times a day is average, but it really depends on your height and weight, and your need and how aggressive you have to be. So this is why working with a detox specialist is so important, because you can see, okay, how aggressive do you need to be in your detox approach? And also you can avoid major detox symptoms when you know what your weaknesses are in your body and what to be careful for during your detox. So yeah, like I was saying before, you want to, if the tinctures or the herbal formulas give you a problem, what I sometimes do is I tell people, okay, drink the stomach tea before taking the herbal formulas. And then, it doesn't give them a problem. They don't feel any stomach pains. They don't feel like that pulling of the acids and the lymph system, And sometimes, guys, sometimes you have to go through these detox symptoms in order for your body to get out of this lymphatic toxicity that you have. Otherwise, you're just going to stay in the same place and not move and not budge. So sometimes we have to go through just a little bit of suffering, just a little bit during our detox in order to go out of that level and experience more health, because if you're frightened and scared of experiencing any detox symptoms, you're going to stay on the same level, and you've plateaued. And if you stay on the same level, acids will continue to destroy the tissue, and you're actually going to decline in your health. So you always want to be moving past all these plateaus, past and going higher and higher. And then that's when you'll actually reach true healing. So that's the science and art of detoxification, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time here with me today to go over these questions. I really appreciate you taking an active role in healing your health issues. We need more people that are more health conscious nowadays, so that when you heal, you then inspire other people to heal themselves. And then it's like a ripple effect that can be felt all throughout the world. And thankfully, more and more people are falling in line with natural healing and believing in it, and using that instead of the chemical toxicity that comes from taking medications and going the medical route. Really, it is about healing the root cause of disease. And with that, with the healing of our physical body comes the healing of our mental and emotional and spiritual body. So I would say detox is of utmost importance now more than ever in the day and age that we're living in. So thank you to all of you that are taking an active role in your health. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm here for you to help assist you in any way that you need. And, really, if you are suffering a lot with any chronic health issue, I would urge you guys to get in contact with me. I'll help guide you. I really recommend the Master Your Health package for those of you that want to work with me. In the Master Your Health package, I read your eyes, I go through your health history, your case, everything that you've been through, your genetic family health history, and with all that information that's gained with your health forms and in the call that we have together, we'll talk to each other. It's normally ranges about 2 hours or even more. I really, give you the time that you need in order to help you fully understand what's causing your health issues and how we're going to go and move forward in healing them, with the diet, the right diet. Every person's diet is going to look different depending on what you're trying to heal, depending on how toxic you are, depending on how bad your weaknesses are. Everyone's diet protocol looks different from person to person. And then your herbal protocol is also going to look very different. But based on that, I will formulate your diet protocol, your herbal protocol, the detox tools that you need too, that will help prevent, any sort of unnecessary detox symptoms that you don't have to experience. Or if you do experience them, these detox tools will also help. And these detox tools also help enhanced detoxification when you need it. And then you also get an iris analysis with your eyes clearly labeled and explained to you during the call. And and a ton of other information. So I really recommend the Master Your Health package. That package has helped so many people. It's crazy. We have about now, it's been thousands of people since I've been doing this for so many years. So I really recommend that Master Your Health package. It brings everything that you need to start today to finally get to the root cause of healing your health issues. And for those of you that really just want an iris analysis, then we also have that option on our website too. And we also I finally am able to open up the VIP services to you guys, because for a while I was backed up in my VIP clients, so I really couldn't take anyone anymore. But now I finally have a few openings, just a few openings though, because with VIP clients I'm very involved. I'm there for you all the time, so it takes a lot of time. But for those that are interested in working with me one-on-one at a VIP level, you can have a look on our website for that service. And so all the services mentioned can be found at www.spiritropicalhealing.com. So yeah, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until next time, if you want me to answer any of your detox or health related questions, leave it in the comment section down below this video. If you like this video, leave a like and share this video with anyone that really needs to hear this information. There's so many people suffering out there that need to hear this information. So you can be that first person that introduces them to detoxification. And that's truly powerful. So I love you guys. Take care. Bye.